Sam had driven long enough to know that the highway at midnight could feel like the edge of the world. The headlights of his truck cut through the darkness, revealing nothing but black asphalt and the occasional glimmer of a distant streetlight. He liked the quiet of these hours. No radios, no chatter, just the hum of the engine and the occasional sound of tires on the worn road. It was a time for thinking or sometimes for nothing at all. This night, however, felt different. The air outside his cab smelled faintly metallic, like the scent of rain on iron. Sam frowned but shook it off. Maybe it was the late hour. Maybe it was just his imagination. The GPS showed a small truck stop a few miles ahead. Sam had never used this stop before, but the hour demanded a pause. He could fill the tank, grab a cup of coffee, and maybe stretch his legs. The road had been long and empty, and even though he enjoyed driving, his body was beginning to complain. As he approached the truck stop, he noticed the lights flickered. One bulb in the sign above the pumps blinked in an irregular pattern, and a shadow seemed to pass across the entrance, even though no cars were visible. Sam slowed his truck. The lot was almost empty. Only a single car was parked near the convenience store. A cold breeze stirred dust across the asphalt. Sam parked the truck, cutting the engine. The sudden silence of the night pressed in around him. Even the hum of his tires seemed distant. He stepped out, feeling the gravel crunch beneath his boots. The cold air hit his face, carrying a faint scent he could not recognize. It was faintly sweet, mixed with something metallic, and it made his skin prickle. He shook his head, trying to focus on normal tasks. The coffee inside the store might warm him up. The door creaked as he opened it, and a small bell rang overhead. The interior was dimly lit, and the cashier was a young man who looked half asleep. "Coffee," Sam said, keeping his voice low. The cashier nodded and poured a cup, and Sam added cream and sugar without thinking. He leaned against the counter, listening to the soft hum of the fridge behind him. "Quiet night," the cashier muttered. "Yeah," Sam said. "Not much traffic." He took the cup in his hands, letting the warmth spread through his fingers. Outside, the wind whispered across the lot, and for a moment the night seemed almost alive. Sam shook the thought away. He had driven hundreds of miles alone. He was used to thinking strange things in the night. After finishing the coffee, Sam returned to his truck. The cab smelled like old leather and diesel, familiar and comforting. But something made him pause. The door was slightly open. He hadn't left it that way. His heart skipped a beat. "Hello?" he called softly. The cab was empty. He frowned and stepped closer. The seatbelt was still hanging loose, and nothing seemed moved until he noticed a shadow behind the driver's seat. A small figure sat there. Sam froze. At first he thought it was a child or a prank, but the figure had large, unusual eyes that reflected the dim light of the cab, and then he noticed the ears, small, pointed, cat-like ears that twitched slightly. A thin tail curled behind the seat. Sam swallowed hard. "You, who are you?" he asked, his voice uncertain. The figure smiled faintly. "I am Nira," she said. Her voice was soft but strange, melodic and with pauses as if she were translating from another language. I waited for you." Sam's mind raced. He stared, unable to move for a moment. He had seen many strange things on the road, but this was unlike anything. It wasn't a prank, not exactly. The tail moved gently behind her, and her eyes had a glow that seemed natural, not artificial. "You... What? How did you get in my truck?" Sam finally asked, gripping the edge of the seat. "I needed ride," Nira said. She tilted her head slightly, as if considering her words carefully. "I am not from here." Sam laughed nervously, but the sound felt hollow. He wanted to believe it was a costume or some clever joke, but the way her ears twitched, the way her eyes watched him, told him otherwise. There was no hiding the truth. Something was different about her. Something alien. He stepped back and rubbed his eyes. "Okay, you're not from here. That's fine, but you can't just sit in my truck without asking." Nira blinked, and for a moment her eyes glowed brighter. She tilted her head again. "I waited. You came." Sam felt a chill run down his spine. He had driven many nights alone, and he had faced storms, wild animals, and mechanical failures. But this was something new, something beyond the usual road hazards. He sighed and shook his head. "All right. Sit still, just don't touch anything. We'll figure this out." Nira nodded, curling her tail gently around her. She looked around the cab with curiosity, her eyes wide and attentive. Sam watched her, feeling an odd mixture of fear and fascination. Her movements were quiet, careful, almost graceful, like a cat navigating unfamiliar territory. For a few minutes, silence fell between them. The engine hummed as Sam started it again, and the truck rolled slowly out of the lot. The night stretched ahead, dark and endless. Where go? Nira asked finally. I don't know yet, Sam said honestly. He had planned a simple route to get home after a long night. But now everything seemed uncertain. Why wait for me? Nira looked down at her hands, small and delicate. I need help, humans. Strong, brave, you can help. Sam glanced at her in the mirror. Her small frame, her quiet demeanor made it hard to believe she could face danger. But the glow in her eyes, the careful way she moved, told him she was not ordinary. The highway stretched on, straight and unbroken. The moon reflected off the asphalt, giving the road a silver shimmer. Sam drove slowly, listening to the soft sound of Nira's breathing. It was calm, steady, but there was tension in the air, a sense of waiting for something to happen. You trust me? Nira asked quietly. Sam paused, thinking about it. He had driven with many strangers, met many people along the way. But this was unlike anyone he had ever met. Still, something in her voice, in her presence, felt honest. I don't know yet, he said, but I'll try. Nira nodded, her ears twitching slightly. She leaned back in her seat, looking out the window. The darkness of the night stretched endlessly, and for the first time Sam realized he was not alone on the road. As they drove, he thought about what she had said. Humans were strong, brave, at least compared to her people. That was a strange thought, but it made him feel important. Like this long, lonely road, this endless night, might finally have a purpose beyond the miles and the hum of the engine. The truck moved on, its headlights cutting through the darkness, and the night seemed to listen. Sam did not know what was waiting ahead. He did not know what Nira had escaped from, or why she had chosen him. But for the first time in a long time, the road did not feel empty. It felt alive. The wind whispered past the cab, carrying the faint metallic scent again. Sam glanced at Nira, and she looked back at him, her eyes wide and curious. For the first time, they shared a moment of understanding. Two travelers from two worlds moving together through the night. And the night was waiting to see what they would do next. The highway stretched endlessly under the moonlight, silver and quiet. Sam gripped the steering wheel tighter, glancing at Nira in the passenger seat. She sat still, her tail curled neatly around her legs, her cat-like ears twitching slightly with every sound. The soft hum of the truck engine filled the cab, broken only by the occasional wind rushing past the open window. I still don't understand, Sam said finally. You said you're not from here. Where are you from? Nira looked down at her hands, small and delicate. She folded them together and then looked up, her wide eyes meeting his. I am from far away, not Earth, my people. They travel the stars, but I was trapped here. Sam blinked. He tried to imagine what she was saying. Aliens, the stars, being trapped on Earth. His mind jumped between disbelief and curiosity. He had heard stories on the road, rumors of strange sightings, but he had never imagined meeting one. And yet, sitting beside him, Nira looked calm, almost ordinary in her quiet way, except for the ears, the tail, and the glow in her eyes. You trapped here? How? Sam asked. Nira hesitated. Her ears twitched. They study us, some humans. Captured us. I escaped. I waited for someone brave, someone who could help me. Sam glanced at the dark highway ahead, then back at her. She was small and unarmed, yet her words carried weight. He did not know why she had chosen him. He was just a truck driver, not a hero, and yet something in her gaze made him feel responsible. All right, he said finally. I don't know what I'm getting into, but I'll drive. We'll figure it out. Nira's eyes brightened slightly. She nodded, but she did not speak again for a few minutes. Silence settled between them, calm but tense. Sam kept his focus on the road. His mind raced with questions. Why had she waited for him? Who was after her? And what kind of danger could a small figure with cat-like features face in a world of humans? The first sign of trouble came quietly. In the distance, Sam noticed a shadow moving across the road. He squinted, trying to see clearly, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Nira leaned slightly forward, her ears twitching, her tail moving with a soft flick. They follow, she whispered. Sam's heart skipped a beat. Follow? Who? They come for me. Always, she said softly. Her eyes glowed faintly, almost like tiny stars. We must leave the road, hide. Sam swallowed hard. He had driven through storms, through blizzards, through roads that should have been empty, but this was something different. He nodded slowly. Okay, I can find a way. There's an old service road a few miles ahead. It's narrow, hidden. We can take that. Nira nodded, her ears twitching in approval. She seemed relieved, yet she remained quiet, as if waiting for something to happen. Sam slowed the truck slightly and took the exit. The asphalt quickly turned into gravel. The road narrow and winding, flanked by tall trees that blocked the moonlight. The shadows danced across the cab as they moved, creating shapes that made the hairs on the back of Sam's neck stand on end. You humans are strong, Nira said after a while. Brave. You drive fast. You see danger before it comes. Sam laughed quietly, more out of nervousness than humor. I've been driving this road for years. I know how to handle a truck in the dark, but I've never had an alien passenger before. Nira tilted her head, studying him. I am not alien. I am someone like you. Different. Yes, but life, same. Fear, hope, everything same. Sam nodded slowly. There was a strange wisdom in her words. Fear and hope. Yes, he knew both well. Driving alone at night, wondering what lay ahead, hoping to reach home safely. He understood that feeling. Somehow it made him feel closer to her, even though she was clearly from a world he could barely imagine. They drove in silence for a while, the gravel crunching under the wheels. Then Nira spoke again, quieter this time. I cannot stay. They will find me. You help? Maybe you safe too. What do you mean they will find you? Sam asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Nira's eyes darkened slightly. Humans, not all good. Some take what they do not own, study, control. My people, they are free. They should be free. But some humans trap them. Sam gripped the wheel tighter. He had faced dangerous drivers, wild animals on the road, even storms that could push a truck off the path. But this was something else. He had never faced beings beyond Earth, beings with intelligence and strength different from humans. And yet he felt a surge of determination. He would help her. He did not know how, but he would. The road ahead narrowed further, trees leaning over like guardians or watchers. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves and whistling across the cab. Sam adjusted his speed, careful not to lose control on the uneven surface. Nira's ears twitched constantly, as if listening to things he could not hear. Her tail flicked occasionally, reacting to sounds too faint for human ears. They are close, Nira whispered suddenly. Sam's heart pounded. Close. How close? They follow our scent. Night, easy. They find us fast, Sam nodded. He had no experience outrunning beings that followed scent, but instinct told him to trust her. All right. Keep alert. I'll find a way. Minutes passed and the tension in the cab grew. Every sound, the rustle of leaves, the distant cry of an animal, the faint vibration of the truck felt like a warning. Nira's ears twitched continuously, and her tail moved with precision, signaling danger before Sam could even see it. He realized, with a mix of awe and fear, that her senses were extraordinary. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the road ahead. Sam swerved slightly, avoiding it. The figure was humanoid, but moved in a way that was not natural. He could not see clearly, but he felt the presence of someone or something tracking them. Too close, Nira said, her voice firm now, though her eyes glowed faintly. Sam's mind raced. He had to think fast. He spotted a narrow path leading into the woods, hidden by darkness and trees. It was risky, but it might hide them from whoever or whatever was following. Hold on, he said. He turned the wheel sharply and the truck bounced onto the hidden path. Gravel flew beneath the tires, branches scratched the sides of the cab, and the truck tilted slightly on the uneven ground. Nira's tail flicked nervously, but she did not panic. She watched, alert and ready. The path twisted and turned, and Sam's heart pounded with every movement. But slowly the shadows behind them fell back. He glanced at Nira, who nodded slightly. Her ears relaxed a little. They had escaped for now. Thank you, Nira whispered. You brave, human, strong, Sam shook his head. I'm just a driver. I don't know how brave I really am, but I won't let them catch you. Nira looked at him, her eyes wide and glowing faintly. I trust you. The words carried weight, and Sam felt a strange warmth. Trust. It was rare on the road, even among humans, but here in the middle of nowhere, with a being from another world beside him, it felt like a bridge, a connection that went beyond fear and doubt. The night grew deeper, the moon higher in the sky. The gravel path eventually opened into a small clearing. Sam slowed the truck, listening for any sign of pursuit. The clearing was empty, quiet, and safe for the moment. Nira leaned forward, looking at the dark tree line. "We rest soon, we plan next," Sam nodded. "Yeah, but first, tell me more. Why did they trap you? Why are you here?" Nira sighed softly, a sound like wind through leaves. "Many years ago, humans found my people. Some good, some not good. They wanted to understand us. Some wanted control. I escaped, I hide, but they'd search, always." Sam listened, understanding a little more. He had always thought humans were clever, resourceful, strong. But even cleverness had limits against beings that could cross stars, beings with senses beyond human comprehension. And yet here she was, relying on him. He realized something. It was not just that he was helping her. She was helping him too. She made him feel alive on this lonely road, made him feel needed, and in that feeling he found courage. The night was quiet again. Sam and Nira sat in the cab, the engine humming softly. Outside, the world was dark, but inside, something new had begun. A partnership. A journey. Two travelers from different worlds moving forward together, facing the unknown. And the night, full of danger and mystery, waited to see what they would do next. The clearing was small and quiet, surrounded by dense forest on all sides. Sam parked the truck under the shadows of tall trees, the engine ticking softly as it cooled. Nira stayed in the passenger seat, her ears alert, her tail flicking gently as if listening to something invisible. The night was calm, but the tension in the air was thick. Sam could feel it in his chest, a mixture of exhaustion, fear, and anticipation. "I think we are safe for now," Sam said, exhaling slowly. "But we can't stay here too long." Nira nodded. "Yes, they search always. They find patterns. They know roads." Her voice was calm, measured, but there was an edge of urgency that Sam could not ignore. He leaned back in his seat and studied her. She was small, almost fragile, yet she carried a presence that made him cautious. Her large eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, reflecting a world he could not yet understand. "I need to know more," Sam said. "Who are these people who want you? And why do they care about you?" Nira hesitated, as if weighing how much to reveal. "Many years ago, humans found my people. Some trapped, some studied. Not all humans, cruel, but some want control. I escaped. I hide, but they search." Sam's mind tried to process it. Humans who could capture beings from another world. Beings who could travel across the stars. He had faced dangerous drivers, storms, and empty roads. But this was a danger beyond anything he had imagined. Still, he felt an unusual calm. Somehow he knew he would help her. "All right," he said finally. "We need a plan. We can't just drive blindly forever. Do you have anywhere to go?" Nira shook her head slowly. "No, cannot stay. Anywhere long. They find, but I know. Safe place? Not here. Far?" "Very far," Sam nodded, his thoughts spinning. The road ahead was uncertain, full of unknown dangers, but he felt a strange sense of purpose. For years he had driven alone, never thinking much beyond the next stop. Now he had a companion and a mission that mattered. "Let's rest for a few hours," Sam suggested. "Then we drive." "You can tell me more on the way," Nira agreed. She leaned back in her seat, closing her eyes briefly, though her ears remained alert. Sam kept watch outside, his senses sharpened by the night and the strange presence beside him. The first light of dawn crept through the trees, painting the forest in soft gold. Sam stretched, feeling the stiffness in his muscles from hours of driving. Nira stirred, opening her eyes and glancing at the sky. "Time. Move. We must go." Sam started the engine quietly. The gravel path ahead was rough, but he drove slowly, keeping an eye on the edges of the forest. Nira leaned forward, scanning the road. "They come," she whispered. Sam felt a chill run down his spine. "Already? How can you tell?" "They sense vibrations. Hear faint movements, humans." "Not aware, but I can," Sam nodded. He had never considered that someone or something could sense danger this way. It made him grateful she was with him. Together they moved cautiously through the winding path, the truck crunching over gravel and hidden roots. After a few miles, the path opened onto a small, abandoned service road. Sam's heart lifted slightly. This road was hidden from the main highway, overgrown and quiet. "We should be able to use this for a while," he said. "No one comes here." Nira's ears twitched, but she nodded. "Yes. Better, but we must move carefully. Danger. Near." They drove in silence for a while. Sam watched the forest pass by, the sunlight breaking through leaves in patches. Nira remained calm, but he could sense her alertness. It was strange seeing someone so small and delicate yet so aware, so capable of detecting things he could not. Finally, she spoke. "I tell story humans. Learn, maybe understand." Sam nodded. "Go ahead." "I'm listening." Nira took a deep breath, her tail curling around her arm. "My people. Wanderers. We travel stars. Free, not tied, to one world long ago. Humans found us. Some curious, some cruel, some captured, study, want knowledge. Control, I escaped. Others, trapped, remain." Sam listened, fascinated and concerned. He had never imagined that beings from other worlds existed, let alone that they could be held captive by humans. The idea was terrifying and unfair, and yet Nira spoke with a calm that made him believe she had endured much. "Why? Why me?" Sam asked. "Why did you wait for me?" Nira's eyes met his. "I felt trust. Humans. Some brave. Strong. You. Dry. Alone. Watched. Think. I waited for someone who could help." Sam felt a strange warmth in his chest. Trust. That was powerful. For years he had felt invisible on the road, just another driver moving through empty highways. But now someone from another world had chosen him to help, to be part of something important. As they continued, Sam noticed movement in the distance. A shadow moved between the trees just at the edge of visibility. He slowed the truck, keeping a careful eye. Nira leaned forward slightly, her ears twitching. "They follow, close." Sam's heart pounded. "How do we lose them? They clever, but I know. Hiding places, small. Hidden. We must move quickly." He nodded. The abandoned road twisted and turned, the forest dense on both sides. Sam drove carefully but with purpose. The shadows seemed to follow, though he could not see them clearly. Nira's senses guided him, warning him before danger appeared. After several tense minutes, they reached a narrow path that led into a deeper part of the forest. It was almost invisible from the main road, overgrown with bushes and low trees. Sam took the turn slowly, careful not to damage the truck. Nira's tail flicked nervously, but her ears remained alert, sensing the faint vibrations of whatever was following. They drove for miles through the hidden paths, the forest closing around them. The sun climbed higher, but the shadows remained thick and the air was filled with a sense of tension. Sam felt a mix of fear and determination. He had never faced anything like this, yet he felt ready. Finally, they reached a small clearing surrounded by rocks and trees. Sam parked the truck, and for the first time in hours, they could rest without immediate fear. Nira stepped out carefully, her small feet touching the ground lightly. She glanced around, ensuring no one followed. "They search, but not here," she said softly. "We safe. For now, we plan next." Sam leaned against the truck, exhausted but relieved. "Good, we'll figure this out together. You tell me what to do and I'll follow." Nira looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly. "Yes. Together, humans, strong, brave, you help me survive." The day passed slowly and Sam learned more about Nira's people. They were wanderers, travelers of the stars, free and intelligent. Some humans had trapped them in the past, curious or cruel, and some remained in captivity. Nira had escaped and now relied on him for guidance, protection, and trust. As the sun began to set, the forest turned golden, the shadows stretching long and strange. Sam and Nira sat by the truck, planning their next move. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with danger, but for the first time, Sam felt that he was not alone. The highway was no longer just a long, empty road. It was a path full of purpose. He had a companion, someone who needed him, and a journey that mattered. And Nira, with her ears and tail, her glowing eyes and quiet strength, was teaching him that courage could come from unexpected places. As night fell, they prepared to move again, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead. The shadows in the forest whispered around them, but Sam felt a new sense of determination. He would not fail her. He would face the unknown, The pursuit, the mysteries of the road, because he was no longer just a driver. He was part of a story larger than himself, and the road waited for them, dark and endless, ready to challenge their courage and test their trust. The forest was dark and still, but Sam knew it was only a matter of time before danger found them again. The quiet was deceptive. Even with Nira's heightened senses, he could feel the tension in the air. Every rustle of leaves, every crack of a branch made him glance toward the edges of the trees. "We cannot stay," Nira said, her voice steady but urgent. "They follow. They track fast," Sam nodded, gripping the steering wheel tightly. The truck was loaded, heavy, but he had no choice. "All right, let's move. You guide me." Nira's ears twitched as she scanned the shadows. Her tail flicked with subtle movements, each motion alerting her to changes in the environment. Turn, left. Narrow path, hidden from road. Sam followed her instructions, turning the truck onto a barely visible dirt path. Gravel and rocks bounced under the tires, but he managed to keep control. He could feel his heartbeat in his ears, each pulse reminding him how fragile their escape was. "They fast," Nira whispered. "Not many. Can escape. You help." Sam swallowed hard. "We'll try. We'll do our best." The path wound deeper into the forest. Trees leaned close, their branches scratching against the truck's sides. Sunlight barely reached the ground, leaving the forest floor dark and uneven. Sam's hands shook slightly on the wheel, but his focus never wavered. He had to trust Nira's guidance and his own driving instincts. Suddenly, a shadow moved ahead. Sam's eyes widened. A figure, humanoid but not human, darted between the trees. It moved too fast, silent and precise, like a predator. Nira's ears flattened slightly and her tail stiffened. "They see us," she said. "Now, act." Sam pressed the accelerator, the truck bouncing over rocks and uneven ground. The shadow pursued them with unnatural speed, keeping pace easily despite the rough path. Sam swerved, narrowly avoiding roots and fallen branches. "They strong," Nira warned. "Careful. Do not stop." Sam's mind raced. He had driven through storms, snow, and rain, but this was unlike anything he had faced. A creature was tracking them through the forest, fast, silent, and relentless. He could feel its presence even when it was hidden. As they drove, Nira leaned forward, pointing at a break in the trees. "Shortcut. Narrow, faster. Hide." Sam turned sharply, taking the narrow path. The truck scraped branches on both sides, and gravel flew under the wheels. His pulse pounded, but he stayed focused. Nira's tail flicked in approval. She guided him through turns and obstacles, sensing the movements of the hunter behind them. Minutes passed like hours. Every shadow, every sound set Sam on edge. He could feel the presence closing in, and the trees seemed to whisper warnings. The forest was alive with movement, yet Sam knew they had to push forward. "They do not give up," Nira said quietly. "We must trick them." Sam nodded, though he did not fully understand. "What do you mean?" "Fork in path. Take right. They expect left, faster. Confuse." Trusting her instincts, Sam steered the truck sharply to the right at the fork. Gravel sprayed under the tires, and the truck tilted dangerously, but he managed to keep control. Behind them, the shadow hesitated for a moment, confused by the sudden change in direction. "They confused," Nira said softly. "Good, keep moving." Sam felt a surge of hope. They had gained a small advantage, but he knew it would not last. The forest was too open in places, and their pursuers were clever. He kept the truck moving fast, following Nira's instructions carefully. As they approached a clearing, Sam saw a narrow stream cutting across the path. The water was shallow, but the rocks were slippery. He hesitated. "Go." "Careful," Nira said. "Speed. Enough. Cross." Sam pressed the accelerator gently, balancing speed and caution. The truck bounced over rocks, water splashing against the wheels. Behind them, he could sense the shadow closing again, faster than before. "They catch us?" Sam asked, his voice tense. Nira shook her head. "Not yet. Human, strong, brave, help, survive." They crossed the stream safely, and Sam took a deep breath. The truck moved quickly, but the forest opened slightly ahead. He glanced at Nira. Her eyes glowed faintly, her ears alert. She was ready for the next challenge. "They split," she said suddenly. "Two. Now." "Corner, trap." Sam's stomach dropped. Two figures, faster, smarter, tracking them with precision. He looked around, searching for options. The forest was dense, but he noticed an old logging path leading to a higher elevation. "Up there," he said. We can use that, Nira nodded. Good. Thinking faster. Move. Sam steered the truck onto the logging path. Rocks and branches fell under the tires as he accelerated, the truck bouncing and tilting on the rough ground. Nira guided him, her senses predicting where the hunters would strike next. The chase grew more intense. The shadows moved with frightening speed, anticipating their path. Sam swerved, narrowly avoiding obstacles. Gravel and dirt sprayed as the truck navigated tight turns. Nira's tail twitched with every movement and her ears flicked, alerting Sam to dangers he could not see. Close, Nira said. Corner. Soon, prepare. Sam's heart raced. He gripped the wheel tightly, his knuckles white. The path narrowed, trees pressing close on both sides. He had to make a decision. Turn sharply and risk tipping the truck, or drive straight and risk running into the pursuers. Trust me, Nira whispered. Sam nodded. He turned the wheel sharply, following her instincts. The truck tilted dangerously, but they made it through the narrow path. Behind them, the shadow skidded to a halt, momentarily confused by the maneuver. Good, Nira said, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Keep moving. They continued through the forest, using every hidden path and obscure trail Nira could sense. The shadows followed, relentless, but Sam's driving skills and Nira's guidance kept them ahead. Every turn, every obstacle, every narrow escape made them stronger as a team. Hours passed, the sun beginning to rise, painting the forest in soft gold. Sam felt exhaustion creeping into his body, but he refused to slow down. Nira stayed alert beside him, guiding, warning, and sensing every movement. Finally, they reached a wide open field, hidden from the main road. Sam slowed the truck, taking a deep breath. We made it. For now, he said, relief washing over him. Nira stepped out carefully, looking around. Safe. For now. If we rest and plan. Next move. Sam nodded, leaning against the truck. We've been lucky, but they won't stop. We need a long-term plan. Nira looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. Humans, brave, strong, you help. Together? Survive, I trust you. Sam felt a surge of determination. The chase was not over, but they had survived. They had worked together, combining human skill and alien senses to outmaneuver dangers no ordinary driver could face. As the sun climbed higher, they prepared for the next stage of their journey. The road ahead was uncertain, full of danger and mystery, but Sam felt ready. He was no longer just a driver on a lonely highway. He was a protector, a companion, a part of something larger than himself. And the world waited, full of shadows and challenges, ready to test their courage and trust. The forest slowly gave way to open fields bathed in the soft golden light of morning. Sam drove cautiously, the truck rumbling over uneven ground while Nira remained alert in the passenger seat, her ears flicking and tail moving with subtle precision. For the first time in hours, the world felt quieter, safer, yet the tension lingered. We are close, Nira said softly, her eyes scanning the horizon. Safe place. Not far, must reach before they find. Sam nodded, his mind focused on the road. He had been through the chase, the narrow paths and the shadows, but he understood this was the final stretch. Whoever was pursuing Nira would not give up easily. Yet he felt a growing confidence. Their teamwork had kept them ahead so far, and he trusted her instincts completely. The road ahead opened into a small valley. A strange shimmer hovered above it, faint but unmistakable. Nira's eyes widened slightly. I come, she whispered. But I'm here and safe. Point, signal, others like me. Sam slowed the truck and watched the horizon. The shimmer pulsed gently, like a quiet light from another world. He did not understand the technology, but he felt its significance. It was a sanctuary, a place where Nira's kind could be safe. He glanced at her. Her small frame trembled slightly, not from fear but from anticipation. Do you trust me? Sam asked quietly. Nira looked at him, her glowing eyes filled with warmth and certainty. Yes. Trust, you, brave, you, help, you, strong. Sam felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had been lonely on the road for years, driving through empty highways, thinking only of reaching the next stop. Now he realized that life could be bigger than the miles he traveled. It could be about helping someone, protecting someone, and sharing a journey that mattered. He parked the truck carefully near the edge of the valley. The shimmer above grew brighter as Nira stepped out, her small feet barely making a sound on the gravel. Sam followed, leaving the truck running, his eyes never leaving the strange lights ahead. This is it? Sam asked. Nira nodded. Yes, safe place. Others, like me. Wait, signal. They come. She lifted her hands and the shimmer pulsed brighter. It was a communication, a call across distances he could not measure. The air vibrated gently, and for a moment Sam felt a strange sense of awe. They will answer? He asked. They always wait for signal, free. They will come. Nira's ears twitched with excitement. Her tail swished gently. Sam smiled faintly. I'm glad you'll be safe. But what about me? What happens to me if you leave? Nira looked at him with a mixture of seriousness and warmth. You strong, brave humans, many, different, but your choice. Important. You can stay or go. Both. Okay, Sam thought about it. He had driven alone for so long. He had lived a life of quiet routine, miles of empty roads and fleeting moments of connection. But this journey had changed him. He had faced danger, chased shadows, and protected a life far beyond his understanding, and now he realized he did not want to return to the lonely highways. I don't want to go back to the same life, he said slowly. I've driven alone for years. I've seen a lot, but this journey, it matters. I want to keep driving with you. I want to help wherever we go. Nira's eyes glowed brighter, her ears flicking in delight. She smiled faintly, a warmth that seemed to light the valley itself. You choose adventure. Choose courage, human, strong, together journey. Continue, Sam nodded. He felt a surge of determination and relief. For the first time in years, he felt part of something larger, something important. He had found purpose, trust, and companionship in the most unexpected place. They returned to the truck, and Nira climbed in beside him. The valley shimmered behind them, a safe beacon for those like her. Sam started the engine. The rumble felt different now, filled with promise instead of loneliness. As they drove away, the first light of morning stretched across the fields. Nira guided him, pointing to hidden paths and safe routes. The road was quiet, but Sam could feel the energy around them. The chase was over, but the journey had just begun. Where next? Sam asked. Nira looked forward, her eyes filled with focus and excitement. Many places safe, places, others. Like me, wait. Humans, different. But travel, together. Sam nodded. All right. Then we keep moving. We face whatever comes next together. The truck rolled along the valley road, the sunlight glinting off its metal. Sam felt a sense of freedom unlike any he had known. For years, the road had been endless, empty, and solitary. Now it was alive with purpose, filled with trust, companionship, and the promise of new adventures. They drove through small forests, across streams, and along hidden roads that Nira guided them to. Along the way, she told him more of her people, wanderers of the stars, intelligent and free, yet vulnerable when trapped. Sam listened, fascinated by her stories, realizing how much courage and intelligence she carried within her small frame. They, like stars, she said softly, her eyes reflecting the sunlight, travel many worlds, some trapped, some free. Now, I have free because you help. Sam felt a warmth in his chest. I'm glad I could help. But I'm learning too. You've shown me something I never knew. Life can be more than just the miles you drive. Nira nodded, her ears flicking gently. Yes, life. Courage, trust, friendship, all important. Humans, strong, brave together, stronger. As the day progressed, they reached a quiet hilltop overlooking a broad valley. The wind swept gently, and the shimmer of light in the distance marked another safe place for Nira's people. Sam parked the truck and looked at the horizon, realizing that the world was larger, more incredible, and more mysterious than he had ever imagined. I never thought I'd see this, Sam said quietly. Never thought I'd meet someone like you or see places like this. Nira smiled, her tail curling softly. Sometimes, life surprises humans. Strong, brave, you help, make difference. Sam nodded, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. For years, he had driven lonely highways, uncertain and unseen. Now he had a mission, a companion, and a world filled with possibilities. The lonely roads were gone. Ready to keep going? He asked. Nira's eyes glowed faintly. Yes, together. Journey. Continue. They climbed back into the truck, and as the sun rose higher, The valley behind them shimmered like a beacon of hope. The chase was over, the immediate danger had passed, and a new journey awaited. One filled with discovery, trust, and courage. Sam realized that the road was no longer empty. Every mile held promise. Every turn brought new experiences. And beside him, Nira, with her ears, tail, and glowing eyes, reminded him that courage and friendship could cross even the boundaries of worlds. The truck rolled onward, its tires crunching over gravel and dirt, carrying them toward the unknown. Sam smiled faintly, feeling alive in a way he had never known. The highway stretched ahead, not lonely or empty, but full of purpose, and for the first time in years, Sam felt that he was exactly where he needed to be. The adventure was just beginning, and together, human and wanderer of the stars, they would face whatever came next.